Hey, it's Russ from Pilates Guy, and I've put together just a little routine that you can do if you've got some general back pain going on, aches and pains, actually, or even being quite sore. I've been there, I've lived through it, and sometimes you don't want to move at all, but a lot of the time when it is general back pain, a little bit of movement will help. When your back hurts and you start to get movement, it starts to ease off. So this is just like a gentle kind of routine, a bit of a stretch to try and ease off those things that could be aggravating back pain or making it worse or causing it even. So I'll take you through it. Take about 10 minutes, just some gentle movements and stretches to kind of get you moving really. So hopefully it helps. But just remember to listen to your body. Don't push it. Stick to sort of lower options or alternatives if it is really, really painful. And if it's extremely painful, then obviously don't do it at all. Don't make things painful. So we start off on our backs. And we're just going to start with a simple pelvic tilt, common exercise movement that we do in Pilates. So we just want to start to tuck your tailbone under. And as you do that, your bum cheeks might lift up off the mat and your lower back flattens right down into the floor. And then we're going the opposite way, sticking your tailbone out, and you find that your lower back arches quite a lot. So you just want to work between those two movements. Now you might keep it very small, just flattening the lower back gently and then lifting the lower back gently, or you might make those quite big where you're really kind of tucking the tailbone, maybe your bum cheeks, your butt lifts off the floor ever so slightly and then comes back down. And basically you just want to take real care doing this, easing into this gradually. If you can, make it a bigger and bigger movement until you've got quite a nice big movement through that pelvic tilt, moving those lumbar spines around a little bit, getting some movement into there. And I'd probably just do around about 10 of these each way, just to get a bit of movement in there. But do a few more if you want to, but just around 10 each way. Really nice and controlled. And we come back to that in between, that neutral spine, somewhere between those two extremes. So the gap under the lower back should be very small. You shouldn't be able to get your hands to meet in the middle. Then what we're going to do is take the feet and knees together. Just move your arms out the way slightly. Maintain that neutral spine, that in between those two extremes. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just let your knees tip one way and your head goes the opposite way. And just ease into that for a second. And when you need to breathe in, just breathing coming back to the middle. And we're breathing out as we go the other way. So you're just going between these two movements. I would probably do something like 8 of these each way. Just feeling that stretch in the lower back. Keeping your feet and knees together. Don't let your feet and knees separate at all. If you can get your ear to the mat, then take your ear to the mat as you go into that opposite way with the head. You can make this a very small movement, so you don't have to be going to the extremes that I am here. Breathing in as you come to the middle, breathing out as you go the other way. So if you're doing this smaller, you may just be letting the knees tip a little way and your head just moves a little way. You don't have to take it all the way to the floor. You don't even have to get close to the floor. Just getting that little bit of movement through will help. Keeping those feet and knees together as you move. Breathing all the time. Breathing out as you twist. Breathing in as you come back to the middle. As I say, just about 8 each way. Should help ease into that back a little bit, getting that rotation in. So we come back to the middle after doing 8 of those each way, and we're just going to bring our knees into our chest. So we're just going to give those knees a little squeeze into the chest. Say just bring them in as close as you can. If you want to really take the arms around the knees and give them a tight squeeze, you can do that. You can just hold the knees there. You can have your hands on your knees and just vary, slowly rocking forwards and backwards, letting the knees relax away and then bringing them in gently until you feel a bit of a stretch. An alternative here, if either you don't like this or you just want to get a bit more movement through the spine, is just hold your knees together and make circles with the back of your pelvis. So you're almost massaging your lower back into the mat. We want to do about 12 of these. So if you're just pulling the knees in and then releasing, do that about 12 times. If you're doing circles, do about 6 in one direction. And then once you've done that 6, you just change direction and go the other way. It's good to do a combination of those. You can start off by just pulling the knees in and releasing and then start to do your circles. But at about 12 repetitions, giving those knees a bit of a pull as you come in Just feeling a bit of a stretch. Keep breathing as you do these. And then once you've done around about 12, either of the squeeze and release or the circle, 6 each way, you're just going to relax one leg down towards the floor. Let it just relax down. I just want you to bring the knee in towards the chest. So you're just gently pulling that knee in towards you. And you're just holding this for around 20 seconds or so. Just about 20 seconds. Keep breathing and just gradually pulling that knee in towards you bit by bit. So every time you breathe out, try and relax all those muscles around that leg. And just try and bring it in a little bit more and a little bit more. And after about 20 seconds, we'll just release that leg away. We'll bring the other leg in. We're doing the same thing here. Just bringing that knee in towards you, easing out that tension with every out breath. And that may help release around the hips and the back. Keeping your, not letting your tailbone peel right away from the floor here. You're keeping pretty stable through the pelvis and the back, and you're just bringing the knee in towards you, relaxing that knee in towards you bit by bit by bit. Once you've done 20 seconds there, we'll just release that leg. So we're going to bend the legs now, and we're going to stretch our hamstrings, because very tight hamstrings can cause some back pain, and this can take a bit of pressure off. So we're going to take one leg up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're in pain with your back, you probably don't want to straighten the leg right out and flex the foot, which gives you a very deep stretch. So you may want to just soften the knee. Now, if that feels good, you stay there with that straight leg flex foot. Otherwise, soften the knee, relax the ankle, and just hold the thigh or the calf, never behind the knee. And I just want you to bring that leg in towards you until you feel that stretch. And again, like before, I want you to keep breathing. And every out breath, just bring that leg in a bit closer and a bit closer. But what you're trying to do is keep your bum down on the mat. Don't let your bum peel away here. We don't want a gap at all. We want that down as we're just gradually bringing that leg in bit by bit by bit. Keep breathing. So you can have the foot flexed and the leg straight if you prefer. Just bringing that in towards you. About 20 seconds. And we'll relax that leg down. We take the other leg up for the same stretch. So either softening the knee and the ankle if you need to, just bringing that leg in until you feel the stretch, or leg straight, foot flexed, bringing that in until you feel that stretch, but keeping your bum down on the mat. We don't want this lifting up. About 20 seconds into this stretch, breathing all the time, remember. Every out breath, we're just relaxing a little bit more and a little bit more. And then once you've done those 20 seconds, just bring that leg down. So we want to set ourselves up for a hip flexor stretch. So we're going to come to a kneeling position. And what I'd like you to do is just take one leg forwards into a kneeling position, 90 degrees in each leg here. So we want to be tall through the upper body, shoulders back and down. Pop your hands on your hips for me, and you just tuck your tailbone under. So you just tuck in the tailbone, flattening your lower back a little bit. Now that might be enough of a stretch for you. If you've got really tight hamstrings, that might be more than enough. So if that is enough, just stay there with this and just ease into that, squeezing your bum cheek, and just keep the tension on. If you want a little bit more, you're going to ease gently forward into this. Now, if you've got a very sore back, you don't want to be doing any sort of fancy hip flexor stretches like taking your arm up or rotating around. So we just try and stay tall through the upper body, tucking the tailbone, squeezing the glute, and easing forward into that stretch. Again, probably for just about 20 seconds. This would be a good one to do twice. So after 20 seconds, come out and then just go back into that stretch for another 20 seconds. Just gently easing into it. Don't force it. Don't make it painful, but just feel that stretch. I mean, the second that I tuck my tailbone, I'm getting a stretch in those hip flexors, and that's psoas. Stay tall through the upper body. And once you've done 20 seconds, a couple of times, swap sides. So you just swap your legs over. Realise I'm chopping the top of my head off here, but you get the idea. Hands on the hips, we roll the shoulders, make ourselves tall, and we tuck the tailbone. Instant stretch for me. We squeeze the glutes. We can just gently ease forward into that if you want that deeper stretch. So we're not going to put any other movements into this. We're just relaxing forwards, but keeping the glute engaged as you do this with that little tuck of the tailbone. Easing forwards, breathing, remember, all the time. Once you've done about that 20 seconds, just come out of it, releasing off, and then we come back in for another 20 seconds. Start with the tailbone tuck and the glute squeeze. And then just gently start to come forward as far as you're comfortable, feeling that deep stretch in those hip flexors. Keep breathing as you do this. tight hip flexors can be a very common cause of back pain, especially if you sit down a lot at work, like driving and office work and that sort of thing. They can be the direct cause of back pain, which sounds strange because they're at the front. Just ease off after about 20 seconds, and we will be just working on a couple of exercises back down on our fronts. But yeah, the tight hip flexors can cause a lot of back pain, so it's good to loosen them up as much as you can. If you are suffering a bit, or we should anyway, if we're sitting down a lot, stretch those hip flexors. So your option, exercise number 1 is to stretch those quads. So I like to take one hand out in front and put my head on that hand, and then I want to just bring the other leg in towards you. Just get hold of your foot. If you struggle to get hold of your foot, you could use a belt or something like that. And all I want you to do tuck your tailbone under a little bit, and I just want you to slowly pull that foot in towards your bum. So pull that foot gently in towards your bum cheek with that hand, and just hold there, gradually increasing that pressure for about 10 seconds, and then release. But don't let go of the foot. I want you to bring that back in again for another 10 seconds, and release, and then do that one more time. So 3 lots of 10 seconds, pulling that foot in towards your bum, getting a stretch through the quads. Keep breathing, remember. And release. We'll swap those legs over. So you swap your hand over, and you bring your other foot in towards you, trying to keep the knee down. We just pull that foot in towards our bum, feeling a stretch, about 10 seconds, and release. Just trying to tuck your tailbone under slightly. We don't want to be really arching the lower back. And then one last lot of 10 seconds, 3 times 10 seconds. And we release that leg. So your next and final stretch here, just stick to a level good for you this one. It may be too painful to do depending how sore your back is. So you can first off start with a small cobra. So you're just going to bring yourself up, take your toes in, heels outwards, tuck your tailbone a little bit, and just relax your legs, relax your glutes. Don't squeeze your butt. And you're just going to bring yourself up gently, keeping your hip bones on the floor. Now you may only come up a little way, keeping those elbows bent, and if it's quite painful here, then don't go any further and just go to your elbows, okay, just as far as your elbows, and you come out of this. We'll do this about 10 times. So you can bring yourself up, keeping your legs relaxed, into your cobra, just onto elbows, and then come back down about 10 times, trying to go a bit further each time. Your other option though is to come all the way up into the full cobra, straightening the arms, shoulders back and down, chin tucked, hip bones staying on the mat, and then coming back down. So it's almost like a push-up. You should find as you start to ease out a little bit, it gets a bit easier each time. So it should get a bit easier each time. You're trying to keep those bony bits of the hips, those hip bones on the front of the hips on the mat. We're trying not to let them peel away. Legs relaxed. Don't squeeze your glutes together. Shoulders back and down, chin tucked. And we want to do about 10 of these. We want 10. So whether you're just on elbows, or whether you're bringing yourself all the way up, or whether it's somewhere in between. Just keeping those legs relaxed, just getting that stretch through, and tucking the tailbone a little bit. Now this could be really painful depending on what you've got going on with your back, especially if you've got an injury there, rather than just general back pain, a very specific condition, then it may be worth avoiding this, because it can put a lot of pressure on the back. But this is very good at mobilizing and strengthening the back. And once you've done 10 of these, just holding up for a couple of seconds at the top of that. Once you've done about 10 of those, we'll push back into a child's pose stretch. You can do this with your knees together or your knees wide. You just push back into child's pose, reaching your arms forward, pushing your bum back, and breathe as you stretch out. So just breathing, lengthening the arms forward, head to the floor if you can, pushing your butt towards your heels, just lengthening your spine as much as you can. A few nice deep breaths. You can hold this for about 30 seconds, and then we'll just come out of that. So in a nutshell, that's a little routine. I found a few stretches and movements which really help ease off that back pain that you can do in about 10 minutes, and it should hopefully help. It might be that you just do a few of those that feel okay, and that's fine. Just do the ones that actually do feel okay for you. Don't make anything painful. If you've got any questions or anything, please feel free to get in touch with me. And thanks for watching. I hope that's helpful, and speak to you again soon.